Imagine walking into a room and, like, knowing instantly exactly what movie you're in.
Right, yeah, like you just know the vibe immediately.
Exactly. The lighting is slightly too warm. There's this perfectly timed acoustic guitar track playing softly in the background. And you just know, like deep in your bones, that you're about to bump into a charming stranger and drop all your papers.
A classic meet cute. It sounds pretty comforting, honestly.
Right. Because you know the rules. But what if the director never yells cut? What if you're trapped in that exact narrative loop forever, just playing out the same beats whether you actually want to or not?
That is exactly what we're getting into today.
Yeah, today's deep dive explores this really highly unusual manuscript. It's titled The Support Group for People in the Wrong Story by Mira Plot, and it was supposedly discovered in a water-damaged manila folder.
Barked evidence, which is just so ominous.
Right, found in a community center basement in Belgrade. So, our mission today is to unpack a profound psychological concept buried in these pages called genre dysphoria.
Which is basically the suffocating feeling that you are trapped as a supporting character in a fictional trope.
Exactly. And through that lens, we're exploring a terrifying philosophical question. Are we the authors of our own lives? Or just, actors reading a script?
It's a heavy question.
It really is. So I want you to think about your own daily routines for a second. Do you ever feel like the universe constantly throws you into the exact same type of drama? Like, do you keep having the identical argument with totally different people?
Oh, I'm sure everyone listening can relate to that feeling on some level.
100%. Today is going to challenge exactly how you view your own reality. Okay, let's unpack this.
So the manuscript throws us right into room 4B of this Belgrade Community Center. And the setting is, like, aggressively mundane.
Oh, totally.
You've got these fluorescent lights humming at a perfectly normal yet somehow ominous 60 hertz. And the group is led by Dr. Elena Vance.
She's a clinical psychologist, right?
Yeah, she actually coined this term, genre dysphoria, to describe the severe disconnect her patients are experiencing between their internal identities and their external realities.
It's a disconnect that plays out in wild ways. I mean, truly wild. Take Brenda Calloway. She's living inside a literal sitcom.
Oh, Brenda. She carries that tote bag.
Yes, she carries a tote bag that literally says "Namaste bitches" in Comic Sans font.
Which is a tragedy all on its own.
Right. So she goes to a cafe to have a genuinely serious, emotional conversation with her sister Diane about their mother's declining health.
Yeah.
And what happens?
Chaos. Absolute slapstick chaos.
Exactly. A waiter bumps a table, Brenda trying to catch a falling cup, and the coffee arcs in this perfectly choreographed parabola to ruin some random stranger's pants.
And the entire cafe just laughs.
Right. She is physically blocked from experiencing real emotional depth by, like, literal slapstick comedy.
It's a psychological nightmare when you really think about the mechanics of it. Imagine desperately needing to grieve, but your environment forces you to perform a pratfall instead.
It's so twisted.
It really is. And she isn't the only one suffering from this forced framing. Like, Liam Park wants a quiet, highly rational life, but he's relentlessly plagued by romantic comedy tropes.
Oh my gosh, the rain clouds.
Yes. We're talking localized rain clouds that follow only him, forcing him under awnings with beautiful women holding extra coffee.
And he
Accidentally engaged in a bank.
Right. To a total stranger.
Yeah, a woman in front of him drops her ring, it rolls to his feet. And as he kneels to hand it back, her actual boyfriend is on one knee behind her.
So someone snaps a photo, the whole bank claps, and suddenly a Facebook profile he never even created tags him as local romantic makes dreams come true.
And just like that, he is shoved into a relationship with this complete stranger named Jennifer.
It's just like being trapped in a real-life TikTok algorithm. You linger on one baking video for 2 seconds too long, and suddenly your entire feed is just people scoring sourdough bread.
That is a brilliant analogy.
Thanks. It's like the universe has somehow profiled these people and keeps relentlessly feeding them the exact same content genre no matter what they do in the real world.
But we should probably look at this skeptically for a second.
For sure. Like, are we sure these people aren't just suffering from extreme confirmation bias? I mean, if I buy a red car, I suddenly start seeing red cars everywhere, right?
Exactly. If you're naturally paranoid, you're going to interpret every coincidence as a threat. That's the most logical psychological explanation.
Right.
And it's actually where Dr. Vance's clinical assessment starts. Human brains are evolutionarily wired for pattern recognition. We survived by assuming a rustling bush was a predator rather than just the wind.
Yeah, we naturally connect dots to feel a sense of control.
Exactly. But the specific, verifiable details in this manuscript push way past simple cognitive distortions.
Right, because we have Arthur Chen, who is stuck in a paranoid thriller. I mean, he brings a travel edition trifle conspiracy board to therapy.
Which is just incredible dedication.
It really is. He deduces that the local pigeons are spying on him, and he finds a literal doppelganger wearing his exact clothes, buying his exact brand of cereal at his grocery store.
And then there's Mira Katsaros, who shows up in a cape with an umbrella she treats as a sword named Excalibur.
Because she's trapped in an epic fantasy.
Right, she's waiting for a grand prophecy, but she's forced to do mundane things like tend to her sourdough starter.
But to your point about the evidence, if this were merely confirmation bias, Liam's bank photo wouldn't end up on a fully populated Facebook profile that exists on a physical server somewhere.
Exactly. And Arthur wouldn't have actual security footage of his doppelganger.
Yeah, these aren't misinterpretations of random events.
No, they are meticulously orchestrated incidents. They require resources, planning, and execution, which suggests something far more organized than simple coincidence.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because the whole confirmation bias theory is completely shattered when a man in a bad suit literally crashes their therapy session.
Talk about a dramatic entrance.
Right. He warns the group to disband immediately and leaves behind a folder of impossible photographs. Photos taken from angles inside the walls.
Yeah, photos showing the group breaking the fourth wall.
Which prompts Dr. Vance to search her own office. And she finds a hidden folder sealed behind her 2019 intake forms.
And it contains research notes from this shadowy organization called the Institute for Narrative Studies.
And the truly chilling part, the notes are written in her own handwriting.
That twist is just, wow. She didn't just stumble upon this group of patients. She designed the support group protocol herself.
Wait, so she was part of it all along?
Yes. She was a primary researcher at this institute, tasked with sorting human beings into these narrative structures.
Oh my God.
But when she rebelled against the unethical nature of the experiments, the institute's director, Dr. Rebecca Keene, erased Vance's memory.
Just wiped them completely.
Totally. And implanted a new narrative. The caring, overwhelmed therapist.
That is terrifying. And the folder Dr. Vance finds actually breaks down the mechanics of how you manufacture coincidence, right?
Yeah, it takes massive logistical effort. Arthur was entirely right about the pigeons, by the way.
The pigeons. I knew it.
They are actual surveillance drones outfitted with tracking tags, including the one Mira named Hermes.
And Liam's accidental bank proposal.
Engineered using a magnetically weighted ring and paid actors hitting their marks.
And Brenda's accidents.
Orchestrated by a dedicated team running complex trajectory calculations to ensure maximum slapstick effect without lethal harm.
Okay, from a psychological standpoint, how does someone even begin to process that? Like, how do you cope with the realization that your trusted therapist, the one helping you survive your cage, is actually a brainwashed researcher who built the cage in the first place?
What's fascinating here is the mechanics of the profound identity crisis this triggers in Dr. Vance. I mean, she has to reconcile two entirely conflicting versions of herself.
The healer versus the captor.
Exactly. The healer she believes she is, and the architect of suffering she actually was. How you resolve that cognitive dissonance basically dictates the rest of your life.
And Dr. Keene actually offers her a way forward.
Yeah, she offers her a serum and an injector that will fully restore her erased memories.
And she takes it.
She chooses to drink it. She willingly accepts the agonizing guilt of her past actions because she understands that reclaiming the truth, no matter how horrific, is the only way she can genuinely dismantle the structure she created.
Understanding how the Institute manipulated them is wild, but discovering why they did it pushes us into a really dark philosophical debate. The group tracks down Director Keene at the Kelamagdan Fortress.
And Dr. Keene doesn't just offer an evil villain monologue.
No, she brings hard data.
She presents a massive empirical study. She shows a graph comparing a control group living normal, unstructured lives against her experimental group forced into these narrative tropes.
And the data is unambiguous, right?
Completely. Life satisfaction scores were significantly higher for people in the forced narratives. Rates of depression were lower. Dr. Keene's core argument is deeply cynical, but it is grounded in her findings. She believes the world is meaningless chaos, and humans fundamentally cannot handle the cognitive load of absolute freedom.
They need imposed structures to survive.
Right. Her defining quote is, "Struggle with structure is better than meaninglessness without it."
But, okay, let's look at Keene's data for a second. If these people actually report higher life satisfaction and feel more purposeful inside these manufactured narrative cages, why break them out?
That is the million-dollar question.
I hate to say it, but does Dr. Keene have a point? If the data shows people are genuinely happier in these cages, isn't a happy prisoner better off than a miserable free person? Like, is freedom actually overrated if it just leads to existential dread?
This raises an important question, and it's really the central ethical dilemma of the manuscript. Think about this in your own life for a moment.
Yeah, like staying in your comfort zone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you ever stayed in a toxic relationship or a miserable job simply because the daily routine was familiar? The predictability felt safer than the unknown?
Oh, definitely. People do that all the time.
That is Dr. Keene's data playing out in the real world. We often mistake the comfort of predictability for actual happiness, but we have to analyze the profound difference between passive contentment and active agency.
Because the Institute removes the burden of choice.
Right. When you don't have to choose, you don't have to face the anxiety of freedom. But knowledge and meaning are only valuable when they are understood and actively chosen. A cage is still a cage, even if it's comfortable.
Enter Jennifer's grandmother, Yaya.
Oh, I love her.
She is incredible. She's this formidable, cane-wielding force of nature who just completely obliterates Keene's argument. Yaya tells her fake meaning is empty calories. Happiness is not the same as being alive.
It's such a powerful line.
It really is. Sure, a forced narrative might feel comfortable, but it provides zero emotional or spiritual nutrition. And Yaya actually backs up her philosophy with blackmail.
Which is amazing.
She threatens to expose the Institute to her investigative journalist grandson unless Keene agrees to back off and give the group a 10-month observation-only period to prove they can live meaningful lives without manipulation.
And Keene accepts the terms. So the manipulation teams stand down. The cage doors are left wide open.
But that's almost scarier, right?
Definitely. Taking the lock off the door doesn't mean the prisoner automatically knows how to walk outside. The sudden absence of structure can induce a massive psychological freefall.
The hardest part of the journey is picking up the pen and writing your own story when the script you relied on is suddenly gone.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean? The group suddenly has a blank page. You'd think escaping a massive conspiracy would lead to explosive, dramatic action.
But they learned that the ultimate rebellion against a dramatic, highly structured narrative isn't more drama.
No, the ultimate rebellion is embracing the mundane.
They discover that choosing normal life is the most radical action they can take. Let's look at Brenda, for example.
The sitcom star.
Right. She goes out and has a completely boring, accident-free day. She wears sensible flat shoes, she sees a banana peel on the sidewalk, and get this, just steps around it.
Amazing. And the bouquet.
Yes. A bride throws a bouquet that's hurtling toward her, and instead of catching it or letting it hit her in the face for a laugh, she just dodges it.
It's like being a news anchor who suddenly realizes the teleprompter has been turned off mid-broadcast. At first, there's this terrifying panic of dead air and silence, but then you realize you can finally just say whatever you want.
That's exactly how it feels.
Brenda dodging that banana peel feels like the ultimate act of defiance.
It is monumental for her. She realizes that comedy isn't her fundamental identity, it's just a coping mechanism she was forced to rely on. So she reclaims it.
Oh, by taking improv classes.
Yes, she takes improv classes so she can choose to be funny on purpose, on her own terms, to connect with people rather than deflect them.
And Liam does the exact same thing with romance. He stops running from it and reclaims it. He actually takes himself on a solo date to a nice restaurant, enjoying the aesthetics without any pressure.
Which is such a healthy step.
Right. And then he and Jennifer, the woman he was accidentally engaged to, decide to start completely over from scratch.
They go apartment hunting and choose a totally boring, non-magical third-floor walk-up.
And they build spreadsheets for their finances and chore distribution.
It's the least cinematic relationship ever, and it is incredibly healthy.
Arthur's transition is equally grounding. He stops obsessing over surveillance and hidden cameras. He actually reconnects with his estranged brother, Marcus.
Who, in a fun little twist, is a corporate lawyer working with Brenda's sister, Diane.
Yes. Small world. And instead of plotting escape routes on a conspiracy board, Arthur learns how to cook pasta sauce.
He trades the frantic anxiety of connecting red string for the quiet focus of dicing onions uniformly.
Yielding a meal he can actually share with his family instead of just hunting for bugs.
And we can't forget Mira, our epic fantasy hero.
Right, with the umbrella sword.
She finds her epic quest, not in slaying dragons, but by taking a job teaching irregular verbs to 9-year-olds.
That's so sweet.
And when one of her students calls her a hero because she teaches with so much passion, Mira realizes that heroism isn't about magical swords or ancient prophecies.
No, heroism is about showing up consistently for the small, mundane things that genuinely impact people's lives.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, their success over those 10 months relies on a core psychological concept: strategic non-engagement.
Because the Institute still tested them during the trial,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. They moved Arthur's furniture slightly to try and trigger his paranoia. They threw minor inconveniences at Brenda, but the group stopped reacting.
They just ignored it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
When you recognize the manufactured cues and simply refuse to play the game, the script loses its power over you.
Reclaiming your life is kind of like taking off a heavy backpack you forgot you were wearing. You suddenly realize how much energy you spent bracing for an impact that isn't coming.
That's beautifully put. They transition from being characters in a plot to being humans in a life, to deploying their traits autonomously.
I want to bring this journey right back to you, listening right now. Take a hard look at your daily routines. Are you playing a character that was assigned to you?
Maybe by your family, who decided you're the responsible one or the messy one years ago.
Or maybe by your job or by society's expectations? Are you reacting to a script someone else wrote? I want to challenge you. Make one choice today that feels completely off genre for you.
Do something highly structured if you're normally chaotic.
Or something entirely spontaneous if you're rigid. Break your own mold just to prove to yourself that you are the one holding the pen.
And as you think about writing your own story, consider one final, profound detail hidden in the Institute's encrypted surveillance logs.
Oh, this part is amazing.
The spy pigeons across Belgrade, the actual drones programmed to monitor these subjects, stopped responding to their recall orders. They outright refused to return to the Institute.
Hermes, the pigeon assigned to track Mira, actually starts bringing her gifts. Yellow flowers, shiny objects.
The surveillance tools effectively unionized and chose to stay with the people they were meant to spy on.
It's a staggering thought to leave on. If even a literal drone, physically bound by tracking bands, serial codes, and programming, can transcend its original purpose to choose connection and break its own code.
What does that say about our own limitless capacity to rewrite our stories, break our conditioning, and choose agency over the structures imposed upon us?